Moving on now, and man, is there a lot of smoke. Goodbye, Yosemite. Don't let your gorgeous boulder-strewn, glacier-carved fields be spoiled until we are able to return.
We'll make it up as we go.
Okay, we really need to get going, but there's so many cool things to see around here.
Miles from the city, and we'll close our eyes, 'cause I'll go where you lead me. Yeah, I'll go where you lead me.
Just down the road is a place from an alien world. It's a surreal landscape around Mono Lake. There used to be a lot of lakes in Owens Valley a few thousand years ago, and Mono Lake used to be a lot larger. None of the lakes of the Great Basin have rivers that flow into the ocean. I mean, that's the whole reason they call this area the Great Basin.
So take it slow.
Instead, the rivers flow to the lowest point and then evaporate. Evaporation leaves behind minerals and salts that are rich in carbonate ions, which is why lakes like this get very, very salty. Mono Lake is many times saltier than the ocean.
Our eyes, 'cause I'll go where you lead me. Yeah, I'll go where you lead.
This is tufa. It's the same stuff that makes up the shells of seashells and limestone. The fresh water from snow melt in the mountains flows underground along the bedrock, and it picks up minerals along the way, including calcium. And some of that underground fresh water bubbles up through springs that are underneath Mono Lake here. And because fresh water from the snowmelt is less dense than the salty water in the lake, the fresh water then rises up. But when the calcium-rich fresh water mixes with the carbonate-rich salt water, a chemical reaction occurs and calcium carbonate forms, which is what these weird-looking formations are. These formations originally formed underwater, but because Los Angeles drinks a lot of water, the lake level has dropped considerably and exposed these tufa towers. The water level of Mono Lake has dropped about 50 feet since LA became a heavy drinker. Okay, it's really time for us to get moving on up to the Idaho-Wyoming area because in just a few days, the 2017 Great Total Solar Eclipse occurs. So, off we go.
Head for the sun, follow your footsteps, edge of the world, right to your doorstep, home, anywhere you wanna go.
One night camping at the Great Basin National Park.
Beyond the stars, out where the sun sets, we'll find the light, and we'll keep it our secret. Oh.
This is another place I'd really like to get back to someday. They have mountains and glaciers, but I did get a time lapse of some clouds with a few stars.
We'll show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world.
Then we we go to Salt Lake City. SK and I have been here before, but this was Kara's first time, so we took her on a very quick tour of the Mormon Temple Square. Yay!
Anywhere you wanna go, I'll show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world. Show you the world, darling. Let's leave it all behind. We'll keep the sun shining and let it tell the time. Anywhere you wanna go, I'll show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world. Oh, world. Show you my world.
Then we traveled into Idaho and we visited Bear World outside of Rexburg. Here's some facts about Bear World. This place is not a zoo. It is not a wildlife sanctuary. It's classified as a private, for-profit animal exhibition. And none of these bears are from the wild. They all have been bred and raised in captivity.
Neon roses singing in my mind. Sun shining off the ocean in my eyes. Light shows from heaven shine down below. Sunday morning at the Calamo.
Now, our most important rule here is for the safety of my animals. I do need you guys to not throw any food whatsoever while this vehicle is moving.
Loving everything that we got now while we can. Light show.
In total, there's about 75 bears here. And with new cubs born every year, Bear World breeds, raises, and then sells these bears. They are sold and shipped to USDA-approved institutions in the U.S. So Bear World is in the bear business.
Shake your shoes while our hips are meshing.
On average, bears in the wild live about 25 years or so, but in captivity they live a lot longer, around 50 years or so. And the bears here are mostly black bears. We saw only one brown bear, which was a grizzly.
Venice Beach, the one that lady called home.
Most animal rights groups do not like what Bear World does here, but on this day we're just tourists.
Venice Beach, the one that lady called home.
Well, here's my take on Bear World. If bears have to be raised in captivity, then this is a pretty good place. The bears are free to roam around within their area, much bigger than any cage at a zoo. And I suppose the people here, they do know what they're doing and they do take good care of the bears. However, I just wish they didn't have to be cooped up. Bears are wild animals and they should be wild. Just my opinion.